How's it going, everyone? Today I want to talk about the NHL 17 goalie news and give you my take on them as someone who plays goalie competitively and address any concerns that I think we should have regarding these news. Now, I still think NHL 17 will be a better game for goalies than in 16. 16 was the first year for ESHL and the new goalie mechanics for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so it only makes sense that there were a lot of little problems. I fully expect 17 to fix some of those problems, and then next year 18 will fix some of 17's problems, and so on and so forth. The first thing I want to talk about is the addition of the shoulder leans. They added roughly 40 new save animations if I remember correctly. Now some of the key ones are going to be the shoulder saves that you can see in this screenshot. Now in NHL 16, the goalies are programmed to make saves with their limbs. And if you've played goalie long enough, you've had this glitch happen where you try and move in one direction to make the save, but instead the game warps you to the other side, because instead of using his chest or shoulder, he's going to use his arms or legs instead. Now EA is addressing this issue by stating that if your goalie can make the save by moving his body in front of the puck, he will. And this is a very nice addition, but I think this does potentially create one big problem, and that is another tool for goal line goalies. Now in NHL 16, if you've seen a goal line goalie just try and sit towards the middle of the net, one of their biggest weaknesses is short side, especially if you get in close. Their glove or blocker has a good chance of just missing the puck altogether for an easy goal. Now I am concerned that these shoulder leans or other shoulder animations are going to help these goal line goalies with some unrealistic last second short side saves. Now I'm not saying it's going to be there, I'm just saying it's something that us as players and EA should watch out for when the game comes out. Next I want to talk about the reverse VH position added into the game. Now first of all, this is good for the sake of realism. It's an important position used by goalies in real life, and the game should reflect that. The one thing that has me disappointed about this is that they said this is an automatic animation and we won't have control over it. So when we're holding the post, goalies are going to drop to the reverse VH when the puck is most likely behind the net or near the trapezoid, and as the puck moves up the boards, he'll start to raise his upper body to take away the higher angle shots. Now personally, I think this is a missed opportunity, as goalies in real life have different preferences for when and how long they want to be in the reverse VH, and I think that should be for us to figure out. It's a nice addition for aesthetics, and for some of you guys that might be good enough and that's fine, you just want it to look good. But for me and maybe some of you guys, if it doesn't affect our ability to make saves, then why is this addition like being blown up? I think it's being overblown right now. So for now, it's automatic, it looks good, but I'm hoping sometime in the NHL future this can become a manual decision. Next I want to talk about the improved precision movement. In NHL 17, how far you move in the crease will be determined by how much and how quickly you move the left stick. If you do a small push, you should take a small step, and if you press the left stick the entire way, you should get a large stride. Now on paper, this sounds really good and I can't wait to see how it works, but more importantly, I want to see how accurate this feature is when it comes to reading my controller. In NHL 16, I had a ton of small movements with both the left and the right stick, where my goalie would twitch his legs, but he would end up staying in the same exact spot in the crease. Now it clearly read my input if my goalie twitched, but for some reason he's not moving. I'm hoping 17 doesn't have this problem as well, so this new feature can be used to its fullest extent. From here on out, I'm going to talk about some features that are probably going to require a bit of an adjustment period on our part as players. The first on my list is no more camera relative controls. Now this is probably one of the biggest changes that we're going to have to get used to, especially if you're one that uses a lower camera angle. For those who use overhead, it's very simple. To move towards the left side of your crease, you move left. For right, you move right. Now for a lower camera in NHL 16, it depended on where the camera was at the time. For this particular clip, to move towards the far post at this point, I would have to move the left stick at an angle. Now if I just move this clip about half a second later, that far post is now almost directly to my right. So if a goalie reacted a fraction of a second late, they would accidentally move in the wrong direction, and these problems were even worse when the puck moved back and forth behind the net. So for NHL 17, everybody has the same controls. Left is left, right is right, up is up. Now this might take some time getting used to, so don't get frustrated if you just can't figure it out right away. Speaking of camera angles, I want to talk about the new camera angle that they're going to feature. Finally, it's a new camera angle. It's a hybrid of both the higher and lower options we currently have. It's a best of both worlds where you can see nearly the entire ice similar to overhead, but it keeps the action close to you. It makes angles easier to read, similar to fixed. Now this is a very welcome addition for us goalies. I know I'm going to be giving this a shot, but the biggest factors for me to determine whether this becomes my new permanent camera will be how much of the ice do I lose when the camera rotates to the corner, and how well the camera itself functions when it comes to plays behind the net. Now, I do my Be a Pro series on fixed, but when it comes to competitive gameplay, I use overhead. I'm someone who prefers to see the entire ice, so I can have as much information as possible for reading plays before they develop. So that's something I'm going to keep in mind when I test out this new camera angle. And if you're someone who's new to goalie, or maybe someone's going to try out goalie for the first time in NHL 17, these are some factors you may want to consider as well. And the last thing I want to talk about is canceling animations. In NHL 17, you can cancel goalie animations. An example they gave was your goalie dropping back down to butterfly before completely standing up. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think as long as your goalie has his foot planted after making a quick move, you can go back to the other direction if you have to. I'm not 100% sure on that. But canceling animations is something I'm definitely going to test out because I want to compare it to how you cancel animations in 16. Now, some of you might not even be aware of this, that you can cancel goalie animations in 16. You can, it just looks awkward because it's not a cancel in a traditional sense. If you tap the free skate button, you stop any animation you're currently doing. Now, this is very useful for standing back up very quickly from the butterfly, or you can use it to prevent yourself from accidentally oversliding out of the crease. I'm going to compare NHL 17's way of canceling animations to the current makeshift style that we currently have, and I'm going to see which method works better and faster for you guys. So those are my thoughts regarding NHL 17 goalie news. I have a lot of little concerns here and there. My biggest concern is definitely the shoulder lean. Let me know what you think. Voice your concerns for EA. Don't forget to like and subscribe, especially for more NHL 16 goalie tips, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say this now, NHL 17 goalie tips and gameplay. That would really mean a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.